Shalom YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the family. In
today's video, we have a story time for you guys, and we'll be telling you about the worst Airbnb experience we have ever had. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start by saying you guys definitely need to watch to the end because this story gets worse as it goes.
Yeah, and this story begins with when we're booking an Airbnb. Now, this particular one had all the stuff that we are looking for in an Airbnb. You had the crib, AC. I mean, for the price, it was perfect.
Right.
That all changed, and it started when we rode there, right? So when we on an Airbnb, we can look at the directions they give on the map that we can click on it after we book the Airbnb and see the exact directions. We followed those directions, but turns out those directions were wrong. Right. But we didn't figure that out till about an hour after driving. So we now frustrated. So we call and we get no response, guys. So it's just time going past. We kind of don't know where we're going. And then they finally call back and we let them talk to our driver and we get to the Airbnb. But I just feel like that was a huge inconvenience to us to have to deal with that and them not pick up the phone. So that was like strike one for them.
Right. The next thing that made this place terrible are there were things on their listing that were specific things that we wanted that they did not have. And two of those main things were a crib for the baby because we wanted a little break from sleeping with her. We love her, but she be kicking like Bruce Lee all through the night. So we was like, we gonna get a little break. And we also wanted an air conditioner because we knew Uganda was gonna be hot, okay? So we get there, the air conditioner is something like a fan.
Glorified fan.
Air conditioners typically blow cold air, but this one did not. So I wouldn't call it an air conditioner. And there was no baby crib.
And they also stated they was gonna have like some toys and like books for babies, which none of that stuff was there.
None of that was there.
And we kind of looked past all that even then because we're like glass half full type of people, right? So we don't want to just be negative. We was like, you know what, they don't have this stuff, but it looks like the pictures. And so it's all good. We're just gonna keep rolling with it. And then after that, that's when we really started to get irritated when the power went out. Now, I know in Uganda, they have blackouts sometimes, and the power actually went out one time. So
it went out like twice. Yeah. For like a couple minutes, came right back on.
But it wasn't their fault. But so when it happened this time, I thought it was the same situation. But then just after I was away, Jess was like,
no, it was like 30 minutes. And I was just like, go see if everybody else's electric. Because you know, you can kind of see light through the window, but if the whole city is blacked out, it's blacked out. And I'm feeling like I see lights. So I'm like, go see if everybody else's lights on. And they were.
So needless to say, we was a little upset by that, right? So Jessica ended up hitting up the Airbnb host and telling her, you know, our problems. And she instantly was like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Like, she really cared. Even then, it didn't seem genuine from how we was getting messages. And so we ended up getting a call from her contact that's in Uganda. She ended up calling her and was like, okay, I'm about to send somebody. The person that was supposed to come after he said he was gonna send in 15 minutes. I told Jessica they probably gonna be like 45 minutes, so just be cool. Did not come. So after about an hour, we called him again. It was like, hey bro, like, what's going on? Where's the guy? He was like, oh, he ain't come? So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, you're not communicating with each other? Like
why are you even calling me to ask if he came?
Yeah, you should.
Did he do his job? You should be contacting him. Did he do his job?
And so he's like, okay, so we waiting another hour past. And we had to call him again. He's not hitting us up and telling us what's going on. And we're like, hey, like, where's this guy you supposed to be sending? Oh, he said he knocked. Where? This would made me mad because our glass door is glass, so you can see who's ever coming.
And metal, loud metal.
So it rattles throughout the whole house.
Baby tap it, you can hear clank, 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 clank all through the apartment. Like it was like ridiculous. Like don't play me like somebody not.
So you're obviously lying. Like wow, like we're not stupid. I don't know if you think we're dumb or not, but you know this house just like we know this.
The lie escalated the anger. Like I was kind of pissed, but then I was really pissed.
So I'm like we in the house like furious now. Like so they just playing around. They don't care. This is Airbnb. You should care about your scores, your ratings. But you act like it's not a big deal to you.
I already made up my mind. You get a terrible score.
Right. So I'm telling, it had to be like 3 or 4 hours before we end up hitting up the Airbnb host. Like we hit up like this guy's not having anybody come. This is unacceptable. Right. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. If I was here, I would do it. Like that doesn't make me feel better.
Don't care.
You need to get this. I just want my electricity. We have a baby.
It's like none of your employees do their job and you don't care.
Right.
Ma'am.
So she telling us, well, I'm gonna call him back because he disconnected his phone after we kept
he turned
calling.
off. After I called, he kept saying, oh, they didn't come yet, and then doing nothing. And then I called him again and his phone was off.
So I messaged her again and was like, this dude is not here, nobody's coming. This is unacceptable. And she was like, okay, well, maybe you can go downstairs and just go tell the security guard to help you.
Right.
And I'm like, why did you withhold that information until this point?
You could have told me that when I first messaged you that this guy can fix it. Why are you telling me that hours later after you having this other guy call me, oh, did they do something? Oh, did they do something? She called you to do something and you keep asking me, did this mysterious they do something? They who? So we got the electricity back on and I'm already irritated. At this point, there's nothing you could do to get above a 1 star or 2 star.
You don't care about your place.
You out of there because it's the lack of care that
and we got
really
a baby.
pissing me off. Yeah, right. So the next thing, as if there should be a next thing.
This had to be the worst. And that's why we said wait to this point.
Had to be the worst. So I think I was going to wash my hands and I turned the knob. No water.
Now this has happened to us before. It happened when we was in South Africa, but we knew ahead of time that the water wasn't going to work, and she had water bottles actually put in place for that.
There were jugs all in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We got there the first day. I said, what are these jugs for? Oh, that's in case the water goes out. Okay, so that lets you know that sometimes the water goes out. Cool, we're fine with that. Thank you for letting us know ahead of time. So I'm talking to the guy once again, and the same mysterious they is gonna go fix it.
Whoever that is.
It's the pie people. I'm gonna put it. It's the invisible man. Somebody is coming to fix it. Somebody already knocked on my door. They've been knocking.
Yeah.
You ain't hear them knocking?
And then the guy ended up coming.
Right.
So he actually brings a bucket of water, and I'm like, man,
dirty bucket of water.
Yeah, when is the water coming up?
The water might have been clean before it got into the dirty bucket.
That was her solution. So I'm like, when the water coming back on? And he like,
today.
Maybe
Someone's
today.
coming today.
So we didn't trip that much.
We had stuff to do. We left. We went this way.
So we was going all day. Was early. It was off that night up until early in the morning. So we gone all day. Come back like 5 o'clock.
So at this point, we're coming up on a full day.
No water.
No water, guys.
No water. So I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. We hit her up. No response. Like she read our stuff.
It tells you that it's read, and she didn't respond.
Did not respond.
So I called the dude, and he don't answer the phone.
So now we don't have water the whole night, and then it's the next day.
Right.
And we wake up in the morning, turn the faucet on.
It ain't on.
No more water.
There was gonna be water. There wasn't gonna be water.
It was no water.
We were gonna do laundry because that was one of the amenities, a washing machine. But you know, we didn't have electricity and then we didn't have water. You need both of those to wash clothes in the washing machine.
So we didn't have water, guys. For the last 3 days, we get no response from them. So we look at it like it was malicious, right? Like they did this on purpose.
Yeah, we're the only ones with water because it's their responsibility to get us water in their terrible hose.
Right. So needless to say, they're going to get a 1 star. And
I'm going off. It asks you get how many? I think you get like 5,000 characters.
We're gonna use probably all of them.
I'm using all of them characters.
And the stupidest thing that put the cherry on top is this is going to be their first review. This is a new listing.
They're gonna start off with that big one boy.
So you obviously don't want to make money. And if you're looking at this, you see this, we just want to say we feel like you're a horrible person.
Right.
And yeah, you probably shouldn't do Airbnb more.
So needless to say, we paid for all of the amenities. So everything that we couldn't use when there was no water, we couldn't use when there was no electricity or didn't exist at all, we paid for all these things that we didn't get. And we initially didn't trip. It was the host's lack of care and unprofessionalism that got us pissed off. Yeah. So, people need to do better.
And this is not a representation of Uganda as a whole, right? We know we love our experience there, but just this particular person and how they do business.
And the host wasn't even in Uganda, so we don't even know if they're Ugandan. They were just a terrible host.
And with that being said, family, I hope you enjoyed this story time. It was painful for us, but we're happy that you watched it all the way through. So we love you. And as always, family, shalom.
Shalom.